Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group has released its latest Household Affordability Index, and it's not good news for consumers. The basket is now at its highest level since the group started its expanded collection in September last year. Its program coordinator, Mervyn Abrahams, joins us now to unpack this further. Mervyn, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. It looks like month on month since September to now, the food basket has gone up.
Yes, good morning, Dan, and good morning to all your viewers. Over the past 5 months, our basket of 43 very basic foods that most lower-income households in South Africa buys has increased by 194 Rand and 86 cents, or 5.1%, and the basket now stands at 4,051 Rand and 20 cents, which is much greater than the value of a national minimum wage in the month of January.
Now, you say the basket contains a basic foodstuff that an average household would buy. What core foods are these that are driving the price up?
So when we look at the 5 months period, we see that most foods have increased. But to mention a few, maize meal has increased over 5 months by 15%, rice by 3%, cake flour by 3%, sugar by 5%, sugar beans by a whopping 33%, cooking oil by 4%, potatoes by 4%, onions by 2%, and brown bread by 4%. So, I mean, and this goes right through the basket. Almost all 43 foods have increased over the 5-month period.
Now, this really talks to the unaffordability then of the cost of that average basket of food. As you said, it's now putting pressure on households' income.
Exactly. So the cost of the basket exceeds that of a national minimum wage, and we know that about 60% of South African workers who are still employed earn at the level of a national minimum wage, and the basket is now much more expensive than that. And so going into the future, Dan, we need to look at two things. We need to find a way to stabilize food price inflation. And secondly, we need to look at some of the other, how can we keep some of the other household expenditures lower, such as electricity and water. And these are, electricity and water costs are in the control of local governments. So those would be the two areas that we would need urgent work going forward in the next few months.
And the COVID relief will also be required. I mean, we saw last year the government giving the 350 Rand, which, I mean, under all circumstances is very little, but importantly needed.
Yes, so Dan, our research shows that even though the top-ups to the grants and the 350 is very low, it has had an impact within families. And one of the greatest impact that the top-ups to the grants, the top-ups to the old age pension, the child support grant has made was that women in lower incomes could use some of that money into stokvels. And so a lot of women have been telling us that they saved a little bit of that money for the December-January period, and that has built some level of resilience within the household. The worry, of course, is what happens come February, and that these top-ups to these grants have now been taken away.
Okay, thank you very much, Mervyn Abrahams. Not a good scenario there, not a good situation about the increase in the food prices, and families are battling. Now,